All right, all right. So, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone listening to this podcast. Right now, here on episode 2, we have a very special guest, and it's also surprisingly our first time speaking with each other. We have none other than the president of Davao Pag-asa Toastmasters Club herself, Toastmaster President Jenny Hinlo. All right, so good evening, Toastmaster Jenny.
Good evening, Toastmaster Michael, and thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be part of your podcast this evening.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Toastmaster Jenny. So, starting off the podcast, again, this is, no pressure. It's just a chica sesh. I just wanted to start off with why we got to this point. So again, I spoke with Toastmaster Tiff and then I asked her, "Do you have any suggestions of who you think should be on the show?" And then Toastmaster Tiff very enthusiastically answered, "Oh, you should interview President Jenny." So Toastmaster Tiff also mentioned that she's your mentee and you are her mentor and you're someone that she really looks up to a lot. So, but I also know that you've been a Toastmaster since 2017. I started in
I am a
2018.
Toastmaster in 2019, actually.
Oh, 2019.
Yes.
Oh my, so ako di ang kuya. Oh no. In Toastmasters years. So I'm actually coming up on my fourth year of being a Toastmaster during this coming April or May is it. So starting off with your experience as a Toastmaster, President Jenny. Of course, you're the president now, but you began as a member in 2019. What happened in between?
I Before I decided to become a member, actually, I was I had this, poster in Toastmasters from my colleagues way back in 2008. Actually, I have
Oh.
inquiries about it. Yeah, it took me 11 years before I really attended an actual meeting. So at first, I was just curious because some of my friends and acquaintances are into Toastmasters. At first, they hosting an event because it's a Toastmasters, so I didn't really know what it's all about. And when ID Dottie, we are friends in Facebook, was able to
Ah.
post a lot of things about Toastmasters. Then I was kind of curious. Oh, maybe what's that? Or can and she invited me to join in Davao Masonic during at the time. And so when I search for it in Google, and there are a lot of things that coming out, and then it's a educational organization that will help you improve your public speaking leadership skills. And with that keywords that I've read at the time, I'm also taking on a leadership role in the school. I was designated as the acting dean because our senior faculty were already retired, and one of my colleagues had a study leave, so they have no choice. So that's why I became an instant leader at the time. And during events, actually, my number one issue is that the officer in charge is always assigned to do opening remarks, welcome message, and
Yes, yes,
to
yes.
attend different board meetings, council meetings, and you are the representative of the college.
Mm.
That was a time that I was pressured because it's really hard for me to think on my feet and to deliver a speech, an instant
Mm.
speech, because you are the head, so you should be ready. So I kind of have that pressure, and I think Toastmaster will help me with that. And then 2019, at first I was really, it's really a transition. It's really a process for me because I'm really afraid to really be participating in table topics and everything and preparing my speech projects. But then again, when I became the vice president of for education in 2020, that's the time that I was able to learn the how the organization works, the pathways, and how you're able to really transition and you will improve yourself and listen to all the evaluations, and it really helped me grow. Maybe my Toastmaster journey, it's really a process, but also as a professional, it really helped me a lot. That the discipline that Toastmaster gave to me, like you should be up if the 6 p.m. is the meeting, you should be there at least 30 minutes. Oh, because everything that we do, when you do speeches, there's always a time allotment. And when I also apply that in my organization, so it really helps me a lot. And now as a president, in Toastmasters, I really learned that it's really okay to commit mistakes, and because we are not perfect, but there are a lot of mentors who really nurture us to become who we are today, or what we could become in the future. So right now I'm just up to a challenge or being a president, and hopefully whatever are the things that will be assigned to me, I'm willing to learn, because everything that you do in Toastmaster, it's really a learning activity. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
that's
it.
right.
This is the story will continue
Yes,
after.
yes. Yeah, so let's, right before we continue that story, of course, this whole evening is going to be about you, Toastmaster Jenny. But something that stood out to me, you mentioned about mentors, but you also mentioned about you were kind of forced into growing, diba? You suddenly became a leader, and then now you grew into that new position. So I guess one of the questions would be, when you got put into that new like leadership position, did you immediately hala, I should go to Toastmasters, I should become a good leader, I should become a good speaker? Or how long did it take you before you really took that initiative to really push yourself into a organization focusing about growth?
Actually, as I mentioned, I've learned about this 2008, and
Mm.
then 10 years later. So maybe what influenced me is that I read some personality books like Stephen Covey, Robert Kiyosaki, those type of books. And the one thing that common about them is that they tell you to invest in yourself.
Yes, yes, that's right.
And because why? Because some of my friends, when they do join organization, they always think that it's an additional expense. It's an additional burden. You have a lot of things to pay your bills.
Yeah, yeah.
Joining organization, but it's that was my attitude before. That's why I don't. It's just a waste of time. I'm very busy.
Mm-mm.
It's a waste of resources or what. But I came to realize that it's a late realization during my early 30s, or that, well, I've really realized that those years, 10 years, I regretted those years. Maybe it's better if I started early so that I became more mature. But I think it's never too late. For me, it's never too late to really, invest in yourself, improve yourself. Because I'm not really that confident before in speaking, speaking with you, because I'm really conscious about myself. When I speak in public, I really get jitters or nervous, and it's really hard for me to organize my thoughts in an instant. And it's it when I join Toastmaster, it becomes a habit to you. It becomes a part of your system, and then I'm very happy that I made the right decision to invest in myself and to join Toastmasters.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster Jenny. Something that I really took away from that is it's definitely right. When we start improving ourselves, we realize that, why didn't I start sooner? I think your answer also really reminds me of, I think you mentioned Stephen Covey, so 7 habits of highly effective people. So habit number 7, sharpen the
Sure.
saw. So we need to constantly improve ourselves. I think after this question, maybe we can talk about a bit of history about why did you get into teaching as a profession. But I think the question I want to ask right now is, as an educator, how did becoming a Toastmaster change your perspective when it comes to teaching? Like, did it like really improve you just on the technical way, or was there some deeper insight that when you became a Toastmaster, it helped you communicate, understand your students more?
Okay. By the way, definitely teaching is not really my first choice because really because my first job actually I'm an the economics major, and my first job actually
Ah.
was not teaching. I was part of the Davao City Chamber where I met Toastmaster Dottie because
Mm.
she was the president of the food processor, because she was also a leader in different organizations. So
Yes, of course.
yes, she is really a leader in every organization. And then after that, there are opportunities. I have my master's degree, and then there was opportunity to teach. And then I thought that I am not worthy to teach because, you should be, very intelligent or I'm not that confident, but I really took the challenge. And from Toastmaster really made me a great teacher or influenced me in a way, especially in the evaluation. And when we do a speech project, and every meeting we have this evaluation, because it really helped me sharpen my skills, especially in checking on the points for improvement, because I am also a thesis advisor, and in every aspect of teaching, you also mentor your students, no, that they
Yeah,
could
yeah.
improve. Maybe if they are that not that good in quantitative skills or in speaking skill, you could help them and provide them tips. It really helped me out, especially when I have advice when to improve their research topic. If I, Toastmaster really help a lot, especially in evaluating, that you do not really you motivate them. Because in those master, when we evaluate, you are not really criticizing or
Mm.
putting down the person. You are lifting them up, and then you giving them a chance to really improve themselves, especially when they write and when they talk, and every aspect in our in their communication skills. So I'm really glad that it also helped me in my job as a teacher.
All right. So you mentioned about, I think you mentioned Toastmaster Dottie a couple of times now. So is Toastmaster Dottie like really the person that brought you into Toastmasters? Is she the mentor that definitely stands out to you? And if there are others, who are those other mentors in Toastmaster who have really been significant on your Toastmasters?
Of course, Toastmaster Dorothy is one of those Toastmaster, because she was the one who invited me, and really, even though she was absent in that meeting, I really came because she was not aware. But I really came. She was not there in the meeting, but I was there. And aside from Toastmaster Dottie, it's also Toastmaster Elisa, Toastmaster Nino, Toastmaster Babes Kabebe, Toastmaster Venus Rocket, Toastmaster Becky, and all of the our team. So those are my mentors. Who really helped me. They helped me hone my skills, and they really put trust in me, because 2019 I was just a new member, and then I was kind of hesitant to accept the role as VP education, because I thought that I'm just new, can I do it? I don't know. I don't know how to do it, or but I guess if you really wanted, you learn it yourself, you search, and that is how the way it goes. You also help yourself or discover it for yourself. So that how I learned, it's not just you are just waiting for the mentors to tell you what to do. You also search for things that will help you improve. So I'm very thankful, because aside from being a mentor, they're also like a family to me, that I thought that I will just be a member for just a year. And actually, that is my first intention. I will try this 1 year, maybe, because I'm kind of frugal, and but I guess I thought that I could not really pay the dues. But right now, that is just a very minimal amount, and the result is enormous, right? So I
Yeah,
think
yeah, that's right.
there are multiplier effects from the investment that you have, not just for you, but also to the people around you.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So yeah, of course, it really takes a tribe to raise a child, and it
Yes.
takes a lot of officers to raise a Toastmaster, di ba?
Yes.
So I know there are a couple, but I think I was the same way. Just 1 year into my Toastmasters journey, I think it might have just even been a couple of months, maybe 6 months. So I was also made the VP education just a year after I became a member. So transitioning from just being a normal member, just expecting, maybe I'll just try this out for a year, maybe I won't be around next year. Aside from family, how did your perspective change when you became VP Ed, when you became president? I know you mentioned earlier that when you became VP Education, that's when you really understand how everything works a lot more. But now as a president, and of course, our term as president is only 3 months remaining. So looking back at the last Toastmasters year, how really did this journey from member, VP Ed, then to president, how did that really change your perspective on Toastmasters as an organization?
Being a member, I was just maybe carefree because I'm not really obliged to do things, and I just wait for the VP Ed to assign something with me. I'm not really that pressured, but I look during the time that I was a member. Toastmaster Venus Roque was the VP Ed, and I saw her that she was very busy. Oh my God, she's really pressure after work, and sometimes the role takers are absent. But that quality of Toastmasters, that whoever is absent, we are ready to take the role. And I really admired them for that. And during the face to face, whether whoever is present, then we should really pursue the meeting. And with that, before, you are not pressured as a member, but as a vice president for education, although you have a lot of things to do, but you really, I don't know, but how can I say this? I'm really happy that you being a VP Ed, you're really prepared. Maybe because of my background in events management before, that I really wanted. I even from conceptualization, and then you organize. So I really enjoyed it when preparing for the meeting. Especially I became VP Ed during the time of the pandemic online. And
Surprise!
or yes, before pandemic, our meeting is twice a month, but during the pandemic, it's weekly. So we prepare programs,
Oh
right?
my!
Every week. So it's kind of pressure, like every Tuesday. Then after that, we need to. So it came to a point that I have this routine every week, and it was kind of part of the system. And I also missed being a VP Ed because I'm really into it, that I need to prepare. I need to chat everybody who is available, and you need to plan your program and who are the assignment. And with that, I realized that you don't need, it also taught me that you should not be passive. Although if you are a member, you should also take part of the role,
Mm.
because we are here to really help each other. So right now, the lesson that I've learned is no matter what position you are, you should really, help the club, and, help also the officers and members. Whatever our goals were, DCP goals, so you need to take part. So whatever your contribution, it will really help the club and the whole Toastmaster organization.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that point, especially that I think when we start off as a member, we have this idea. I think I was the same way. When I started as a Toastmaster, you kind of have that idea. How is this organization going to help me? Diba? How
Yeah.
am I going to benefit from this? But then as we move through the years, then you become an officer, you realize that how does the organization help you? It's actually by providing help and also by being present. So most of the time, those people that don't really want to take roles, they're also the people that are absent from the meeting. But I think that's something that really stood out for me, is that the more that you're involved with the community,
Yes,
that's
yes,
where
agree.
you really get that insight. But that's why it's also a bit disheartening for me. Like, sometimes we get a new member, they sign up just for 6 months, they sign up just for maybe just 1 year, and then they just, slowly distance themselves. and then they don't really get integrated into the community itself, and then how people really find that motivation to improve, to really be together and help each other. I think that's really something amazing that you said. We really need to help each other. It's not only that Toastmasters will help me.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
that's perfect. That's perfect, Toastmaster Jenny. Since you mentioned about you were there in face to face, and then there was the transition into online. I know that it was a struggle for most of us, and especially in your story, it's you have one meeting a week instead of every 2 weeks.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the question is, what is your most memorable Toastmaster bloopers moment?
Actually, it was I was having a speech and then the internet connection was really slow and then I saw in my screen that it's buffering and I just said, "Oh my god." So I'm just saying, "No, let me connect again." So those are the things that's really hard. And then all of us are not that familiar with the software. What is it that we will use? Is it Google Meet? Is it Zoom?
Zoom,
And the other one, I forget the WebEx, Cisco WebEx.
Webex, Cisco Webex, yeah.
Yes, we also tried that until we really, because it's user friendly. Zoom is most user friendly and have a lot of features. So we also learned, and I'm really also inspired by our senior members because they also are techie, even if they also learn new things. So I'm also inspired to learn. No, it's not really an excuse that that I don't know this, but I have the opportunity to really learn it myself. So this pandemic is a learning activity for all of us, and I guess it has also benefits because we could connect to. Actually, we have members that are not really residing in Davao, so
Yeah, yeah.
right now, so I guess we also gain members, more members that are outside Davao, but it's also a great way that we could also meet a lot of Toastmasters from around the world. You also from
Yeah, yeah.
school, right? So we could really talk and attend meetings,
Yeah.
even though we are not physically present.
Yeah, this is a perfect example because I'm here in
Yes,
Cebu.
yes, yes, perfect. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, something that that really stands out to me because something that I've always mentioned to our members, because a lot of our members weren't really comfortable with the transition. They really
Mm,
didn't want to move into Zoom because the initial idea, diba, was the pandemic's only gonna be here. It's not even a pandemic at the start. We're just gonna go into lockdown for a couple of weeks, a couple of months.
weeks, yes.
So maybe what is just four club meetings, two club meetings that I won't attend because we're just gonna go back to face anyway. And then there we are, 1 year later, 2 years later, diba surprise? So when because I actually became inducted as president in the
And then,
pandemic, the first year of the pandemic, the most difficult year. So we had a lot of members not renew. But instead, I really wanted to push the idea to everyone that this isn't a curse, it's an opportunity. Because I took inspiration, we took inspiration with a couple of friends, a couple of DTMs in Division C, where they started to visit clubs which are in Australia, they visited clubs which are in Hong Kong, they visited clubs in the United States. So mumata jud sila og 5
yes,
a.m.
hello. Yes,
attend the USA club meeting. And we were even able to have a joint meeting with Toastmasters Club from the US. And I really tried to drive home to everyone that it's actually an opportunity that we make the most of what Toastmasters has to offer. But of course, there are trade-offs. I
yeah,
think one thing that we all remember from face to face is when we're in face to face, we really have good blocking. We really
yes,
have the podium, and we have a couple of new members who have only been members in the online time. So they really don't know what it's like to have the podium, to really have the printout notes. They're so used to Word.
Walk around the
Yeah, the copy of the speech is just here on the screen, 'di ba? So I think there's a lot to miss in the face to face, but I think it's also an opportunity here on online. 'Di ba? And I think that's what I really want to remind
yeah.
members and even other officers, because that's also what helps us with getting role takers, 'di ba? Sometimes it's difficult to get role takers when everyone is busy. So we can finally get because we never tried it before, we can actually get GE from Luzon. We can get a
Yes,
GE from Mindanao. We can get a GE
yes,
from Visayas.
yes,
I think it's a great time, but it also has its own challenges. Just like my favorite blooper moment, actually, President Jenny. My favorite bloopers moment when I was VP Ed, I it was an extraordinarily busy weekend. And
yes.
remember, we would always need because we meet in we rent out a small room in a restaurant. So I don't know about other Toastmasters club, others I don't know, maybe if you're in a school, you can just use a school room. But because we're a community club, we really need to find a restaurant so that we can meet in that restaurant. So we need to pay for the corkage, we need to pay for everything. This surprising meeting, when we got there, there's only three members at the meeting. It's me, the president, and one other member. And I actually remember that, of course, we were a bit shocked. Why isn't anyone else here? Some of them confirmed, many of them canceled. But we actually enjoyed the night and we really made the most of being there and still having that member because he was present because he's gonna deliver a speech. So, padayon lang, nag-deliver gyapon siyang speech. So,
You were
nag-speech,
tired.
nag-evaluation, and nag-table topics sa amo. But it was really still a good experience that we were still able to give that time, still have that sense of community, and naka-bring home me og usa ka putos of viand from the
Yes,
restaurant. But
yes,
I know for others it might have been a disheartening moment, but I think instead it can be looked with it was actually a nice and intimate moment where even if there are just a few members who are present, I know some others would opt to cancel, but we said no. No, no, no to cancel. We're gonna go through with the meeting.
cancel. Yes.
Kay no choice because face to face naman, di ba? And we're already there.
That happened recently or before
This was still in face to face. So this
okay, so
happened in I think
2019.
2019. Right
Oh,
or maybe 2018 before all the pandemic stuff. So maybe end of 2018, maybe start of 2019, something like that. So I think it also reminds me that everyone who's a Toastmaster really has something else which is going on, diba? And sometimes life gets in the
yes.
way. And I don't think that's wrong. Like, people shouldn't be shy nga, di lang sa ko mo attend, mag-do sa ako, mag-side hustles ako dire. Because of course, we're people first before we're Toastmasters, diba? So,
Yes.
sige, let's backpedal a little bit, Toastmaster Jenny, because you did mention na teaching isn't your number one choice. So maybe we can talk about that story a little bit. So of course, teaching isn't your first job, I guess. So
Yes.
where did it start and how did it end up this way?
Well, for my first job, I was a technical assistant, and my second job was a project based. So it's just for 2 years.
Mm-mm.
So I developed my project, and after that, but during the time I was having my master's degree.
Mm-mm.
So after that, there was I applying for a job, and there was an opportunity to apply. So I have applied to many jobs, but I was not hired. So I just took this opportunity to teach, and I just thought that I just need to study my lesson so that I could teach it to my students. So after that, so I thought that I could not do it, but I guess I'm loving it right now, because right now when you're state university, you're not just involved in teaching. Actually, it's not just your job. You will do research work, extension work, and also you have administrative obligations. So it's a really total package. So you have a lot of paperworks. So it's not just teaching alone. So, and I guess that is also how I handled well. I being a having time for Toastmaster. It also taught me to really manage my time well, because
Mm.
all of the members are really busy. So
Yeah.
that is how my mentors in the club, they are really the owner of their businesses, but
Mm.
even though they are very busy in their personal lives and their businesses, they really mark our meeting every Tuesday in their calendar. So I really look up to them, because even though they have that, they have this sense of commitment and responsibility in the club. So I admire that, as a young Toastmaster for just 3 years. So they have been in Toastmaster for 20 years, and so, but still the passion that they have and the leadership and the commitment is there. So I look up to them, and I would maybe one day I would become like them. But they're really in the edge of it, but it inspires me more really to become, because it's still I'm still having my journey in Toastmasters, and whatever is the challenges that come my way, I'm really open, and I've just asked my mentors what are the things that I need to do, because they have already experienced that, those problems about membership, those problems about people are not coming around. So they have a lot of stories also to tell.
Mm.
And then from those stories, they were able to share what they have done. And, a learning activity from the different experiences of our Toastmasters.
Right? That's very interesting. So does that mean that in the next term you're gonna be an area director?
I don't know.
Not yet, maybe.
Maybe if there are opportunities, let us see.
Yeah, we'll see. So I'd like to ask your reaction for this quote because I asked someone to describe you in a quote, and this is the quote that they gave me. The quote is, do your best with who you are and don't mind the rest. So again,
Do
this
your
comes from Toastmaster Tiff.
Just do your best. What do your best?
Yeah, do your best with who you are and don't mind the rest.
Okay. So that quote really reminds me of myself, because before I'm really conscious of people's comments about me, and because I want them to I maybe I want to please them. I don't want them
Mm-mm.
to get angry at me, so I'm really careful with the words that I will say. And you know I just maybe playing safe always, because I don't really want to have arguments like that. But I guess in Toastmaster, the one thing that I really enjoyed in Toastmaster is that the speech project, you're able to write what's in your head, and you're able to concentrate, and and deliver it. And
Mm-mm.
because actually before, in elementary or what, I'm really into theater, or I'm really
Oh,
part of
wow.
a theater group, and having being an actress on the school actress. And then I have this passion, actually. I really, if I were not a teacher, I really want to be an actress. And this
Ooh.
Toastmaster, being in Toastmaster, really rekindled that passion in arts, that I was able to. I don't really have a talent in. I don't know. That is one of my passion before, that you're able to write story, or write a story about yourself. So you are
Mm-mm.
the great who can narrate well about your story. It's just you. So I just need to walk down memory lane and just remember all those things. And even if it's a mess, in your life, it's a problem. How could you make a mess into a message? No, how could you
Oh.
make a simple thing as an inspiration? So actually, I'm really enjoying that when you write your speech, you deliver it, because there are a lot of ideas that coming in your mind and just, helps you a lot. Then
Mm.
those masters rekindled my passion to be, like an actress in every speech project. I could act and dialogue, right? Because I cannot do it. This is the platform that, it's kind of like my hobby, and then you're able to do that. And it's okay that you do not do it perfectly, because, you could really improve.
Yeah, everyone
So
is a work in progress.
yes, we are really a work in progress. So I'm not afraid anymore, whatever are the comments, because I'm just
Mm.
doing it for to improve myself. So
Yeah.
before, I'm really afraid about criticism. I'm really afraid that people will not like what I do.
Mm.
But here in Toastmasters, just deliver your speech. Do not be afraid, because we are not perfect. We are, work in progress, and our mentors and evaluators really help us to improve yourself more.
Right. I want to revisit the topic that you want to be an actress, but let's put a pin in that right now, because you also mentioned something which is interesting for me, that you were kind of afraid of that criticism from other people, and you were also really interested in theater before. So I think the question is, when you did become a Toastmaster, did speaking, or even before being a Toastmaster, is speaking something that came naturally to you, or was it something that you really needed to develop through those feedback coming from the different evaluators, or the experiences you have on your Toastmasters journey?
The one thing that maybe I'm good at preparing a line. When you are in theater, you know your lines well, so you could
Mm-mm.
practice it. One thing that's really a challenge is the table topics, because you need to answer it impromptu, and I'm not really good at that, because back then in class, when I was a student, I'm not really that student that volunteers to answer in class. I'm just, bowing my head and just wait for the teacher to call me. I'm not that type of student that always raise the hand. When my teacher will call me, I always I'm nervous. But that it really changed my personality when I am in Toastmasters. Whenever um I have interviews, I currently I'm really trying to apply for scholarship for PhD. But Toastmaster really helped me a lot during interviews, panel interviews,
Yeah.
because I'm gained that confidence to, because you don't know the set of questions
Mm-mm.
during the interview. You're just being yourself. And being a Toastmaster, like when every week we have table topics, it really helped me to think in my at my feet, and be able to organize my thoughts quickly, and have a complete answer or mini speech answer during the interview. So I guess that is the great benefit that really contributed in my Toastmaster journey.
All right, perfect. So let's revisit. Ay gosh, artistahin din ni si President
Dilitin
Jenny.
tayo. Actually, I have the best actress award before.
Oh
In our
wow!
school, only in our school. I was the different version. The nation's villain. I was Cruella.
Cruella,
Cruella
Cruella, yes, yes.
those days, just in high school.
Alam, maybe ma-discover pa ta Toastmaster Jenny. No,
Audition lagi. Yeah, I really thought of applying in theater arts, UP
mm,
theater art. But but it's a Kota course.
I see. No,
Yeah, I
because
really want.
the reason I was curious is because I'm wondering what is your norm right now as a Toastmaster, like level 4, level 5,
Actually, I'm
or
PM5 and IP1. Currently in my IP level 2.
yeah, yeah, second path already.
Yes,
Because
yes.
I know that
Second
when we get to level 4 or level 5, there are already those projects which are really, like, the
pass.
scope of the project is bigger. But
Yes, the
something,
minutes
some,
also of the speech.
yeah, the speech is also fun.
Longer
Then
speech.
also need more preparation. Instead of weeks,
Yes.
it will be months. But something that I noticed in the more advanced, the recent advanced projects, if you compare it before, because when I was the VP Ed, I had to learn both of the curriculum. So I
Mm,
need
the
to learn pathways and also the legacy, what we call legacy right now. Because some of our members were still taking legacy when I was the president, when I was the VP Ed. And something that I noticed, I'm not sure if it's exactly lacking, but there's really advanced communication series, and then they're specific to a certain topic. So I'm not sure if you've seen it. Maybe you can ask for a copy from Toastmaster Dottie. But ang katong mga older advanced series, it's just like a pamphlet. You've seen the TM magazine, di ba? So it's like a TM magazine, but it's a bit thicker. And then that magazine only has 5 speech projects, but they all have a certain theme around it. And the reason why that stood out to me, that you wanted to be that you deliver that theater when you're delivering a speech, is because there's actually one of those advanced communication series which focuses on that, how to deliver that speech, with how to deliver an effective monologue, how to tell a story with multiple characters. But like, what's it, I forgot what the specific name is called, but it is a play where one person plays all the parts.
mm,
um
interesting.
I forgot what, there's a specific word for that. It's like a monoplay. I don't know what it's called. I don't
You're
know
just
the I don't know the technical term for it. But there was one advanced communication series manual which where you do that. So I was able to evaluate one before, that it's really her that she will do an entire play of 15 to 20 minutes, a whole play with multiple characters, and she will do the voices and act for all the different
everybody.
characters.
Wow.
And it's a speech project, because of course it's not easy to do, di ba? It's not, acting isn't easy. But
Yes.
I really enjoyed that, and that's what I think, right now when we look at the advanced level projects, I think it's more about expanding our reach when you get to level 4, level 5. But I don't see as much of pushing your own skills to the next level. I see less of that, to the current curriculum. Because in that one, like itong curriculum, it's really all about ourselves. So, we're a very good actor, actress. That's what the manual is about. So,
Wow, sana makaano ako nun. Old na yun pala, old curriculum.
yeah. No, but actually the guidelines Toastmasters gave us when they transitioned is, we want everyone to still have a copy of the old manuals. Then you can use it as a reference, so that maybe when you deliver a new speech in pathways, you can use, maybe you can use the objectives of the old one. Maybe you can, because the old system. So when you started Toastmaster Gen, everything's online na. You didn't
Yes,
get your own copy of. So what actually happened before, but I didn't reach it because I'm also a pathways baby.
online.
What happened before is that you sign up for Toastmasters. Toastmasters will give you the pamphlet, or it's not a pamphlet, it's really a magazine for your first 10 speeches, what they call CC before. So
Oo,
all of the CC is in there, but what makes it different from our pathways, di ba, pathways, many pages, there's videos, there's everything
yes.
that you can read. All of that information is in the manual. So everything there, all of the additional information, all of the tips and tricks, everything is there in the magazine, in the manual. So it was really nice sa katunga time, but wala to naka-reach. Oh well.
Hala,
All right, all right, all
yeah.
right. So seeing that now we're in the last last 3 months. I know it doesn't feel like it's the last 3 months of your
Yes.
term as president. I think we always have that habit that it everything goes by so fast. Like
Yes,
sometimes it's
very
even
fast. It's 2020.
yeah, it's
2020
already
na po
2020.
September.
It's already 2022. Especially when you're the president, you don't realize yet that hala, it's already May. I only have one more month as the president because June you're already gonna turn over to the next set of officers. So looking back as the president, because I know we talked about being the VP Ed earlier. So being the president now, how do you how would you invite or what would you say to people who are still wondering about can we really learn in Toastmasters? Is Toastmasters really worth the time? So how would you, because I know for a fact that Toastmaster Tiff mentions that you always bring guests. She even she even mentioned that miracles happen when Toastmaster Jenny is around. Miracles in the meeting happen. So
Really?
yes, yes. So miracles happen when Toastmasters Jenny is around. So of course, the way that we talk about Toastmasters as a new member is different from how we talk about Toastmasters now. So how do you really invite people to Toastmasters when they're still having doubts before signing up or even in their first couple of
The way I invite non-Toastmaster members, I know them as a friend, and I really would like to check on how they could benefit from Toastmasters. So I just asked them, you do you want to, I know that you are in the teaching profession and you are in marketing, you really want to improve the way your communication skills, we have an organization for that, are you willing to, and I just like to visit, no I just don't want them to oblige or be committed, just if you are free. I really don't want to impose on them, but just invite them as a friend to the meeting. And if they they attend the meeting and I invite them again, I do not really in an instant ask them, do you want to be a member? I mean, because
yes, yes.
it's natural to them to say, to ask that how can I be a member. So I think that's the
Mm-mm.
effective way that the one you invited will ask you, how can I become a
Mm-mm.
member? Meaning you are really pulling them in the organization little by little. So it's a process, like, but you didn't, because when maybe some guests will be pressured if you tell them, our future member, when can you sign up? It's just like they will be pressured a little bit. Maybe they're not yet ready, but the time that they will be the one to really initiate it, then that is how we could, it's sometimes it's easier to recruit, but to retain them, it's really hard work.
Yes, yes, yes,
But
yes.
we really want members to stay. But in my case, because I really searched well before I became a member, so I was not really asked, I just volunteered na I want to be a member right away after the first visit in the club. Right in that evening, where is the membership form? I want to be a member.
Wow.
Because the way I observe it, I really, the thing that really attracted, or most of the members that we invited, is they're really amazed by the act counter, the
Mm.
evaluation. So it's really a good thing that, they really also learn. So I guess that's it. So it's really for me, being in the last months as a president. It's been a challenge. This is a pandemic, so I think we need to have some targets on membership to complete our DCP goals. And aside from that, I really want to encourage our members, to really deliver their speech projects. So before, it was really, when I was the VP and also as a member, it was really hard. Although there are many meetings that we don't have any speakers,
Mm.
But at the end of the year, I realized that if you are the VP and you also step up, so you should be also, you should lead the way. So you should also have deliver speech project, and then if you will
Mm.
be the first, then your members will also be inspired to prepare their speech project. So with that, you became a model to them, and then you just don't impose, you do it yourself, because if you are the one doing it, and then they will also do it for, because they improve themselves and they also contribute to the goals of the club, the area, and the division. So it's really a, in our own way, delivering our projects, we learn and we also contribute to the organization as a whole. And I guess it's a, our journey in Toastmaster, whether you're an officer or not, it's really, the job is
Yeah.
still there. You should really need to contribute. So if I will not be the president anymore, I'll just still be a active member and help
Wow.
the next the next set of officers.
I really admire the commitment and the love for Toastmasters I can see really embodied through you, Toastmaster Jenny, because I know that there are really some that, after they become president, goodbye, Toastmasters. So there's really some people that, maybe it's been very stressful. So then after they become a president, I like maybe it's too much, and then we take a break. But there are also people, and I think you're also included, that they really love Toastmasters, they love the environment, and they really stay, just like you mentioned, they stay for 10 years, 20 years. And some of us still starting out on our journey to be an old Toastmaster.
Yes, we will be titas and titos in Toastmasters.
Something that's really funny, honestly, for me, honestly, Toastmaster Jenny, because I've been a Toastmaster since 2018, and then I had some friends. Of course, they're like they're mothers already, because of course we have a diverse set of people here in Toastmasters. But uh, then I met someone who became a new member, and then she mentioned in her speech, my mom is my Toastmasters friend. I said, oh no, I'm one of the old people in Toastmasters. So it's kind of amusing for me that, so I don't even think I've been a Toastmaster for a long time. I think 4 years is still short.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's just funny for me that I'm friends with their mom, and then now I'm evaluating their speech. So it's like a multi-generation Toastmasters.
Yes. It's
Oh
really
my.
great.
So, President Jenny, will we see you in the DisCon this coming April 29 to May 1st?
We are really discussing that with our ex. We know we have interested officers to come
Mm-mm.
to Cebu, and we are just preparing our. Let us see.
We'll see.
I
I'm
really
also
want
really
to join and to experience this con.
It's really nice to experience DisCon, and I mean we're just lucky on my side that it's in our city, because it's in
Yes, you're
Cebu.
lucky.
We're very lucky
Yes.
because usually no, because the last two discons were online. Yeah, the last I think, or not the last discon. I know, I think it's two. I think the last two discons have been online. And then the last one, which is in person, I think it was also here in Cebu in 2018. Not sure.
19.
2019, I think. And
It's in
that
Davao.
was actually the first. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was. I'll look on Facebook posts. But that was my first year that I was a Toastmaster, and I love the community that you feel, especially there in the Discon. And it's really a different experience when you see all of the learning session, the international speakers. But interestingly enough, this Discon is going to be the first hybrid Discon. So I'm not sure what they have planned. Maybe they have invited speakers, but the speakers are online, or maybe the contestants are online, or maybe the attendees are online. I don't know, but I know that many of us here will be there in person, and it's also nice to really have that face to face connection again.
Yes.
All
I've never
right.
attended. Online lang yung mga discon ko. Online lang yung experience ko.
It's a great place to be. But I always remind everyone that you need to have the right mindset when you go to discon. So just like in Toastmasters, diba? We don't sign up to Toastmasters 6 months later. We're a better speaker. You need to
Yes.
you
Yeah.
need to put in the work. You need to put in the work. So just like in this con, actually, I think that the best reason it's there is because it's a networking opportunity. You meet members from all around the Philippines, and I actually met some people who were from Hong Kong the last discon. So what I tell people is that when you go to discon, especially that it's in person, you really need to put yourself out there and really talk, really connect with other people, because just like in Toastmasters, we take a role, we deliver a speech. That's the best way to improve. All right, so I think we're nearing the end of our
Yes.
podcast right now. President Jenny, thank you for being on. Just as a last question for our interview right now, if you could summarize everything you learned from Toastmasters, or don't put it even more simply, what is your key takeaway from being a Toastmaster of just these 3 years, knowing that you have the experience of a member, vice president, now the president, and so I know that you have a lot of perspective into what it is and what it takes to be a Toastmaster and a member. So, what's your key takeaway at this point in your Toastmasters journey?
And for the last almost 3 years of being a Toastmaster, if we all know that we joined this organization, or I joined this in order to improve myself, but it's not a one-way streak. It's really a two-way. If the mentors will give you tips, but also you also need to work on it. You need to be committed to it. And what Toastmasters really taught me is that you're able to take time to improve yourself despite of the busy schedule. Because if you're really committed to improve yourself, you really have to dedicate your one day for in the week for 2 hours or 2 to 3 hours to be in the meeting, to preside, and to be there, to be present. And also that you will have this sense of responsibility also, that whatever is the circumstance, you also need to adjust and be flexible and to lead by example, not just in Toastmaster but outside Toastmaster. Time management, responsibility, and commitment, I think those are the important values. And the most important is the right attitude. Because if
Yeah.
we have the right attitude, everything will follow. If you have really the desire to improve, then you need to set the right attitude in order for you to have a successful Toastmaster journey. So I think that's it
All right,
for
that's perfect. Thank you, Toastmaster Jenny. So, right before we end this evening, I know that some people are looking at this video right now. So, you can take this opportunity to invite them to your club, Davao Pag-asa Toastmasters Club.
hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I invite you to visit our club, Davao Pag-asa Toastmasters Club. We are based in Davao City. We meet every Tuesday, 7 p.m. If just visit our Facebook page, Davao Pag-asa Toastmaster Club, to check on our updates and our link of our meeting. So see you there.
All right, perfect. So, thank you everyone. This has been Speaking with Speakers, where of course we speak with speakers. So, thank you, Toastmaster Jenny, for being our guest in this second episode. And this is our ongoing journey to really talk with Toastmasters and learn a little bit about what they've learned through the years. So, this is still our second episode, but we're excited to continue this journey. I hope that you're going to continue to follow with us. You can follow or you can give a chat. You can meet Toastmaster Jenny in person. Just visit Davao Pag-asa Toastmasters Club. The link to their club is going to be in the description. And you can also check out the different videos, both past and future, in this link somewhere on the screen. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. So for Toastmaster Jenny, thank you so much for being our guest this evening.
Thank you very much.